Hey, psych majors, do you get nervous when taking tests? Maybe your palms get sweaty or you have trouble concentrating. And sometimes that test is literally a test. Imagine sitting in front of your computer ready to take an exam that will determine if you pass or fail. You've studied hard and you know the material, but there's something about this situation that has you worried. This stress can impact your performance and distract you from the task at hand. But what if we told you that even before the test began, your phone was already revealing signs of your anxiety? Phones have become such a large part of our daily lives that they're essentially an extension of ourselves. We use them for work, leisure, communication, everything. So it's only natural that these devices end up reflecting aspects of ourselves, including our mental health. With that said, here are 6 ways your phone reveals you're nervous about a test. No! 1. Your phone is completely drained. Have you ever found yourself rushing to plug in your phone into a power source right before an exam? If so, this habit may reveal that you're feeling particularly anxious about this test. When we experience intense emotions like fear or stress, our body automatically produces more cortisol and adrenaline, 2 hormones responsible for fight or flight response. This response prepares us to either confront the source of our stress or run away from it. However, when it comes to a test, running away isn't really an option. So instead, our body channels this energy into our mind, giving us a surge of alertness and focus. While this can be helpful to concentrate on the task at hand, it also consumes a lot of energy. At the same time, our body is also more prone to exhaustion. It's almost as if your brain is shouting, "Hey, pay attention, don't get distracted." But because it's using up so much energy, it's also saying, and by the way, we need some juice over here. When we're anxious, our brain focuses on immediate threats, which makes it difficult to think long-term. That's why you might forget to charge your phone the night before. You're just too preoccupied with the test. So next time you'll find yourself scrambling to plug in your phone before an exam, take a deep breath and remind yourself that it's just a test. It's not life or death. Number 2. You keep checking your phone for new messages. Another sign that you're nervous about a test is if you keep checking your phone for updates. According to Dr. Elizabeth Scott, a psychologist and author of several books on mental health, constantly checking your phone for notifications is often linked to anxiety. This behavior stems from the fear of missing out, also known as FOMO, and a desire for control. The truth is, though, checking your phone frequently can actually increase feelings of anxiety and stress rather than reducing them. Research from the University of British Columbia found that checking your phone for messages every few minutes activates your brain's reward center. This gives you a quick burst of dopamine, the feel-good hormone, followed by a crash that leaves you feeling even more anxious and irritable. Instead, try setting specific times to check your phone, like once an hour. This way you can stay connected without becoming overwhelmed. You can also turn off non-essential notifications, so you're not tempted to constantly check your phone for updates. Remember, staying focused on the task at hand is key to staying calm and performing your best on that test. No. 3. Your screen time is unusually high. Similar to constantly checking your phone for messages, spending an unusually high amount of time on your phone can be another sign that you're feeling stressed or anxious. When we're feeling overwhelmed, we often turn to our phones for comfort and distraction. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology found that people were more likely to use their phones to escape negative emotions like boredom, loneliness, and sadness. However, relying on our phones to cope with stress can be problematic. Not only does it prevent us from addressing the root cause of our stress, but it also provides only temporary relief. Additionally, using our phones excessively can negatively impact our sleep, attention span, and mental well-being. So if you find yourself spending more time on your phone than usual before a test, it might be helpful to take a step back and ask yourself why you're feeling this way. Is it because you're nervous about the test, or are there other underlying emotions you're trying to escape? Number 4, you're on social media comparing yourself to others. Comparing yourself to others is a common coping mechanism when we're feeling insecure or anxious. A study from the University of Manchester found that social comparison on social media platforms can lead to increased feelings of envy, inadequacy, and self-centeredness. This can be especially problematic before a test, as it can fuel anxiety and stress. When we compare ourselves to others, we often focus on the things we perceive as lacking in ourselves, while feeling threatened by the perceived success of others. This can lead to negative self-talk and decreased motivation. For example, imagine scrolling through your feed and seeing your friends hanging out at a party while you read at home studying. You might start to feel anxious and stressed, thinking you're missing out on fun and that you're not living your life to the fullest. These feelings can distract you from your studies and make it harder to focus on the task at hand. Instead, it can be helpful to focus on your own goals and progress rather than comparing yourself to others. Remember, everyone's journey is different, and what works for one person may not work for another. No! 5. Your background is messy. Is your phone background filled with clutter and chaos? Well, it might be more than just an aesthetic choice. According to psychologist Karen Pine, author of Mind You, clutter can cause you stress. Clutter can cause an increase in the stress hormone cortisol, leading to feelings of anxiety and overwhelm. In fact, research from the Current Psychology Journal found that clutter can negatively impact our ability to focus and be productive. So if your phone background is messy and unorganized, it could be a reflection of your current state of mind. On the other hand, a clean and organized background could indicate a sense of calm and clarity. By changing your phone background to something that promotes feelings of relaxation and focus, you can create a more conducive environment for studying and preparing for tests. Remember, even small changes like this can make a big difference when it comes to managing test-related anxiety. No. 6. You're sending lots of text. Are you sending more text messages than usual? If so, it might be a sign that you're feeling nervous about an upcoming test. According to psychologist Dr. Brian Kenneth Gill, texting can be a form of seeking social support, which is a common response to stress. When we're feeling anxious or overwhelmed, we often turn to our friends and family for comfort and reassurance. In fact, a study from the University of Texas at Austin found that individuals who had strong social connections reported lower levels of stress and anxiety. However, excessive texting can also be a sign of increased stress and anxiety. According to a study from the University of Connecticut, individuals who sent more text messages also reported higher levels of trait anxiety. The constant connectivity and accessibility offered by texting can exacerbate anxiety levels, especially when we're already feeling stressed. The pressure to respond quickly and the fear of missing out on important conversations can add to our feelings of overwhelm. So if you're feeling nervous about a test, it might be helpful to limit your texting to essential conversations and use other forms of communication, like calling or video chatting, to connect with friends and family. So did you relate to any of these points? Do you see how your phone can reveal how you're feeling inside? Sometimes our phones can be the last thing we want to look at when we're already feeling blue. But understanding how our devices can affect our mental health allows us to be more mindful of our usage. It's important to remember that occasional anxious behavior is normal and doesn't necessarily indicate a problem. However, if you're constantly feeling overwhelmed and anxious, it might be helpful to seek professional help. Don't hesitate to reach out to a mental health provider if you're struggling. With that said, let us know in the comments below which of these points you relate to the most. Also, please share this video with someone who might benefit from it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.